The survival of the assemblage point. Although Kárlós frequently mentioned the topic of death, he avoided talking about what happens after a person dies. This occasion seemed like a good opportunity to investigate his opinion on it. "Kárlós," I asked him, "what happens to us when we die?" "It depends," he answered. "Death touches us all, but it is not the same for us all. Everything depends on one's energy level." He assured me that the death of an ordinary person is the end of his journey, the moment when he has to return to the eagle all the awareness he obtained while alive. If we don't have anything else than our life force to offer it, we will be finished. That kind of death erases any feeling of unity. I asked him if that was a particular opinion or part of the traditional knowledge of the seers. He answered, "It is not an opinion. I have been on the other side and I know. I've seen children and adults wandering over there, and I have observed their efforts to remember themselves. For those who dissipated their energy, death is like a fleeting dream, filled with bubbles of steadily fading memories, and then nothing." "Do you mean that when we dream we approach the state of the dead?" "We don't just approach it, we are there. But since the vitality of our body remains intact, we can return. To die is literally a dream. You see, when an ordinary person dreams, he is not able to focus his attention on anything. He doesn't have anything but his fragmented memories, fed with experiences he has accumulated in the course of his life. If that person dies, the difference is that his dream lengthens, and he doesn't wake up again. It is the dream of death. The journey of death can take him to a virtual world of appearances where he will contemplate the materialization of his beliefs, of his heavens and his private hells, but nothing else. Such visions start disappearing in time as the impulses of memory wear out." "And what happens to the souls of those who die?" "The soul doesn't exist. What exists is energy. Once the physical body disappears, the only thing left is an energy entity fed by memory. Some individuals are so oblivious of themselves that they might die without realizing it. They are like people with amnesia, people who have a blockage of the assemblage point and can no longer align memories. They don't have any continuity as such. They feel permanently on the brink of oblivion. When they die, those people disintegrate almost instantaneously. The impulse of their lives only lasts for a few years at the most. However, most people take a little longer disintegrating, between 100 and 200 years. The ones who had lives full of meaning can resist for half a millennium. The range expands even more for those who are able to create bonds with masses of people. They can retain their awareness during entire millennia. How do they achieve that? Through the attention of their followers. Memory creates bonds among live beings and those who have left. That's how they stay aware. And that's why cults of historical personalities are so pernicious. That was the intent of those who, in the past, were mummified, to preserve their name in history. Ironically, it is the greatest damage that can be inflicted on energy. If you seriously want to punish a person, bury him in a lead casket. His confusion never ends. It doesn't matter what he does or how he has lived. An ordinary person doesn't have the smallest chance of continuing ahead. For sorcerers who live facing eternity, 5 years or 5 millennium are nothing. That's why they say that death is instantaneous disintegration. I wanted to know if dead people can return to contact the living. He answered, "Relationships among the residents of various spheres of awareness can only be made through the alignment of the assemblage point. Death is the final perceptive barrier. Living people can go to the realm of the dead through dreams, but that is the kind of thing that a warrior won't enter into, because it only wears away his energy. Something very different, on the other hand, is to contact sorcerers who have left. Why? Because they were able to reach their energy double and retain their individuality through their techniques. How can we enter into relationships with that kind of awareness? In dreaming, however, it is very difficult for a sorcerer who has already left to fix his attention on this world, unless he has some specific task to complete, and it is even more difficult for an ordinary man to support that contact. Interaction with these beings is gratifying for warriors, but terrifying for others, because an inorganic sorcerer is not a ghost, but an intense source of aware and implacable energy, able to damage those who come near him through recklessness. That kind of contact can be even more dangerous than an exchange with a live sorcerer. What does the danger consist of? It is the nature of energy. If you believe sorcerers are friendly people, you are mistaken. They are naguals. There is a very morbid feature in our constitution that impels us to use any means necessary. It is something natural. We cannot avoid it. That feature is exacerbated in a sorcerer and magnified after his departure, because there are no longer any inhibitions to counteract it. When the sorcerer becomes inorganic, he returns to what he always was, a cosmic predatory emanation.